My name is Ilsa Evans. I am the course coordinator for the Graduate Certificate in Family Violence at Chisholm, which we're incredibly proud of that course, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it actually in my presentation, but a bit later on. We wanted to say thank you again to Louise as well, whose organisational capabilities have been amazing, and also to Lena, who is here somewhere, who I went off to Antarctica and handed everything over to Lena. So that was brilliant to come back and find everything already organised. Now, can we flick to the next slide? Thanks. I'm not sure who's doing the thing. I'd also like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And also that acknowledgement, welcome to country, sorry, that was amazing and such great information, so I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about for my allocated few minutes is education, obviously, because that's the area on which I work. And education is often something we don't really think about as being part of the integrated service system. We see the frontline services, we see a bit of primary prevention, but I see education as an integral part of that system. And I think this event here today illustrates that very well. I wanted to talk about Chisholm quickly. We're one of Victoria's premier vocational educational institutes, and we also offer higher education, which is the college that I sit within, and that's where our Graduate Certificate in Family Violence sits, as well as a number of other degrees. We've got 21 years experience in course delivery as Chisholm. We deliver on campus, online, in the workplace. I think on all of your seats is a course that I'm going to talk about shortly, which is our course in gender equity. So we have a range of different vocational courses as well as degrees and accredited training. We offer certificates from degrees to post-grad quals, and we're guided through the legacy of our namesake, Carolyn Chisholm, who of course was a pioneer civil rights woman in Australia. So can we flick to the next one, please? All right, so putting my educational hat on, I thought to put things in context whenever we talk about the fact that we deliver from certificate through to degree. To put it in context for you is the AQFW, or the Australian Qualifications Framework. Now I know a number of you are social work graduates, so you've come along with a degree and you sit at AQF level 7, as you see there. The graduate certificate I just mentioned sits at 8. You can collect all these, it's like, collecting cards. But it's also important to see it not as a linear thing that you just build on. You can backtrack. I mean, an example would be I have a doctorate, which is at 10, but I just recently finished a graduate certificate in tertiary education at 8, so I've gone back and I've got an 8 to put into my back pocket. If you want to ever teach in the future, you might decide you want to have a break from frontline work, and you might do your Cert 4 in training and assessment, which is an awful course, but that's beside the point. Anyone who's done it would agree with me, I'm quite sure, yes, I see some nods there. It certainly sorts out the wheat there. But you'd be backtracking and doing a Cert 4, so don't think of it that you have to only go in one direction. But it does put things in context for you when you are looking to do new accredited courses or degrees. Okay, so now I'm going to talk very quickly about 2 courses which I think are of particular relevance to you. For those of you who are thinking about coming into the sector, or those of you who have a diploma, you may well be interested in the Grad Cert in Family Violence, which is the one that I coordinate. We have 2 streams. We have the Prevention and Practice stream, and we have the Working with Men stream. Both streams have been developed by subject matter experts, and we've been incredibly lucky to have a really vibrant, robust industry advisory committee. Rose is actually on it, as well as other key stakeholders from industry, because of course to be truly a collaborative course, we have to respond to what industry advises us in terms of the course and vice versa. Responsive to the recommendations of the Royal Commission, and of course it meets all the equivalency principles. Anyone who knows Rec 209, if you don't, but you're interested in going into the sector, I'd advise you to quickly look it up and just make sure wherever you go, whether it's Chisholm or elsewhere, you need to make sure the course that you do, if you want to come into the sector, meets those equivalency principles. Incredibly important nowadays, because otherwise you won't be able to work as a practitioner. So just make sure it ticks that box. What else? 2 entry pathways: degree quals in a relevant discipline, or diploma quals plus at least 2 years experience in related sector, and lived experience and volunteer work can contribute towards that, because it's really important, of course, to acknowledge the fact that many of our students come from a lived experience background, and in fact that's often a motivator for coming in to do training like this. I did a study last year and I found of my existing students, so there was about 40 at the time, and my alumni, 67% had lived experience of family violence. So that's huge, and it's something that we need to acknowledge both as an educational institute and also as a sector, because those students are coming into the sector. 4 subjects offered via blended delivery. Working with men has got a 75-hour placement component because it's so specialised. I mean, we don't want to send people out to work in that sector without having actually done, on-the-ground experience. Passionate team of teachers and guest lecturers, of course, who aim to produce professionals who can respond critically to current and future needs of the industry. So great course for anyone who's considering coming into the sector. The other course that I wanted to mention is the course in gender equity, and this one's actually on your seats. This course is actually fully funded at the moment, so it's free. Terrific course for anyone who wants to work in primary prevention or would like to get into policy work. That one is Australia's first accredited gender equity qualification, and for anyone who aspires to create equal, safe and respectful workplaces. The course is delivered in a blended format, including 1 evening class per week via Zoom and online self-paced. So it's very much designed to be workforce friendly. A course that's designed for people in the workforce. Great one to have on your resume, particularly if you want to get into managerial positions, policy or primary prevention, as I mentioned. And for semester 2, there's going to be micro-credentials, because what we've found is quite a lot of people are unable to undertake the full course and they want to break it down into micro-credentials and just build it slowly. So feel free to have a look at the pamphlet, the leaflet that's on your seat if you'd like to learn any more about the course in gender equity. And if you do want to talk to anyone about either of those courses, Lena is the gender equity person, so there she is waving up the back. And the graduate stepping in family violence would be me. But the course in gender equity, there'll be micro-credentials as well in semester 2, so a really, really great opportunity. So what I'd like to finish by saying, and I think have I used up all my time? Yeah, all right, I'll say it very quickly. I just want to return to something that I said earlier. Education is lifelong. It's not a linear thing. It's not a point that you reach and then you say, oh, well, that's done, and I can go forward with my career. There's, whether it's from the AQF wheel or whether it's a micro-credential or a non-accredited course or a training workshop, online webinar, whatever, it never ends, and nor should it. There's something else too, because when it comes to family violence nowadays and associated sector, we talk sectors. We talk a lot, and Rose has as well, about that integrated service system. And as I said earlier, I consider our educational institutes and our suite of offerings as an integral part of that, because together we really do make a difference. So welcome again, and I hope you all enjoy the day.